Hey everybody, Mark Furlow here. I've just wanted to cover a few more bases with you regarding Classroom, and one of the most important and powerful pieces for Google Classroom is going to be creating and using forms. Forms is basically where you're going to create your quizzes from, and then that's really the way that Google will grade them for you. You've got to pull your grades, of course, and enter them in your gradebook manually. However, getting them to grade them for you is a huge, huge leap in the first place. So let's go ahead and start. You can see I'm on my ClassLink page. I've already hit the sign in with ADFS button, and I'm in Drive. So I click on Drive and it opens up my Google Drive. I let the magic happen and you can see I've got my most recent documents at the top, and over here I've got my waffle. From there, I can see all the different options and I can go down here to Forms. Conversely, you could also go over here to New, but you'll see Forms is not on this menu. You've got to go to More and then hit Forms. Personally, I like to be over here in the waffle. I go to Forms. I can see all the forms I've had. I've got the templates that are already there. Down here is all the ones I've previously created. And I'm just going to go, if you want to go blank, you can do that. But since I know this is going to be a little test or something, I'm just going to create a blank quiz. It basically presets everything for grades and assignments and answer key. And I don't have to go in there and change that in my settings. So if you just want a survey or a short questionnaire or something you send to parents in a form, start here. But if you want it to be a quiz to be used in Classroom, go here and let the magic happen again. All right. So now I've got a title. It's called Blank Quiz, and it's already set up for me. You can see there's a space here for question, answer key, and all of these assignment pieces that I'm going to address here in a second. So my first step is this. I'm going to give it a name because I don't want it to be just blank quiz. So I'm just going to call it Unit 1 Test. All right. So that's done. No description there. One cool thing though, if you look up here, it still says blank quiz. I click over here, it says Unit 1 Test, automatically highlights it. I come over here. Usually it auto renames for me. It's not working today, so I'm just going to right click and copy, and then right click and paste. And there we go. So Unit 1 Test. I'm going to come back down here to my questions. These are my questions. So the really, really cool thing about this is you can attach pictures to your questions, and it gives you this myriad of different question types to choose from. So I'm going to give this a question, and I'm just going to say, what is the name of this river? Made that up just now, so apologies. I'm going to give them a lot of different options here. Let me go find, though, the image of the river that I want to find. I'm just going to go to search, and I'm going to Google search, and I'm going to call it the Nile River, make it easy for me in this particular setting. I've got a few different pictures of the Nile. I'm trying to recall which one would be maybe most useful for my students. Let's select this one. I'm just going to pull this one in. I'm going to check this image to see, do they show the name of the river here anywhere? Oh, there it is. So I don't want to use that image. So I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to remove that one. Okay, I'm going to go find a different one. So perhaps I need to go with one of these satellite images. And let's see. Oh, this is going to be a great one right there. Pretty obvious. Can't mistake that river for any other. Let's see as it comes through. Not working. Try it again. Something went wrong. Please try again. I don't know if you saw that down there. So something's wrong with that image. I'm not going to be able to pull that. So how about that one? Loading image. There we go. So I've got this image and it's loaded, and that's going to be the one that I'm going to go with. Let's pretend, though, for our intents and purposes here, they've seen this image before and used it as an identifier for the Nile River. Down here, I've got my options now. So now I can choose. Oh, let me give me some names of some rivers. Rio Grande. Missouri, Danube, Nile. All right. So now these are going to be the student answer choices. Option, I'll go ahead and do add other. Let's see if the kid has one, if they write something down there. You know what? Never mind. I don't want to physically have to grade those. I want them graded for me. So I'm not going to use add other as an option. If you do use add other, you would have to go in there and check anyone that the students individually type on those particular questions. If you want to avoid that, don't give them an add other option. So these are my other options here: duplicate, delete, or make it required. Well, first of all, I'm going to make it required, and then I'm going to go ahead and put in the answer key for this particular assignment. How much is this worth? I'm going to make this worth 10 points, okay? So now I've got my Nile River. That's my answer key. When that's here, this is going to be the only answer that you can choose. I can click multiples, and either one of these would be correct. So you can use that option. Just know that you probably want to tell your kids, there's 2 answers on number 3, or some of these have more than one answer, and you can choose any answer. Answer feedback. I can add answer feedback for incorrect or correct answers. So if I say, oops, that's wrong. How about that's not right? And and I go to correct answers, and I'm going to enter feedback. Good job. You'll notice here I have links. I could go to a web link right here. If I wanted to directly link the students to a YouTube video about the Nile River or a website about the Nile River, I can do it from this particular spot after every single question. Okay, check this out. So I go here, Nile River YouTube video. Why not? They obviously missed something. They can't identify the Nile River. We've been working on it for a week. Nile River documentary, Nile River of the Gods. Be great. However, that's 102 minutes. We don't have that kind of time. Journey down the Nile River, Amazing Egypt, 5 minutes. That we've got time for. Click that one, select. Now, when the kid gets that one wrong, he's going to have a link for a journey down the Nile River. Correct answers. You know what? How about they watch the same video? It's not going to hurt anyone. And save that. Now, when the students hit those feedback for correct answers, bam, this video pops up and they'll play it. This video pops up and they'll play it. I found if you do this, you honestly don't have to worry about them watching it or not. They just will. It's YouTube. It's videos. That gets their mind going. So I've got that here. That question's worth 10 points. This was basically multiple choice with a few little feedback options. All right. Now, I could edit this question. Don't need to. Everything looks good. I'm going to add a new question. So now I'm down here. I've got all these other options: short answer, paragraph, multiple choice, check boxes, drop down, file upload. That would be they would upload a file. Maybe they would create something and send it as a response to one of their questions. Linear scale. If you've seen a survey that has a linear scale about how comfortable are you with this, rate yourself 1 to 5 or whatever, that's what people used with a linear scale. Multiple choice grids, a little more difficult in a checkbox grid too. So we'll save that maybe for advanced forms. We'll probably save all of these for advanced forms. Date and time. Date and time doesn't necessarily seem like it'd be that interesting or that fun or that necessary at any time. However, these are really, really great if you're doing just a form for yourself, or you're doing a form for students to maintain what they're doing in class. You could create a form where they have to record the date and or the time that they've completed a certain task. And that's a really, really cool option for them to see. When they get done, they can see their spreadsheet of responses and how they're doing on a particular day with regard to particular assignments or even a different subject. I use forms all the time, honestly, in my personal life. And so I do dates and times, maybe when I have maintenance done on my car or lots of little things like that. It's a really great way too. Maybe if you're in band, you have the kids have a form where they fill out the date and time that they actually practiced. You could use that as an actual response that they have to complete. Make it a practice journal for them, and now you've got a record of all their practices. Maybe they're practicing and they didn't fill out the form. That's obviously going to happen, but at least you got some record and some knowledge of, yeah, he practiced 20 minutes this week. He's probably going to have a difficult time with this Friday's performance. Little things like that. So I'm going to make this one. Let's go to short answer. Short answer. Oh, I'm just going to give us another question. What is the longest river in the world? Now, I'm not going to include a picture with this one. I'm just going to give a short answer. Answer key. I go through here, add a correct answer. So here I've got different options. I just put Nile in case the kid just put Nile River. Another correct answer might be Nile River. Whoops. The Nile. Oh dear, excuse me. The Nile River. And you can keep adding option after option, especially if your kids do things like this. The Nile River. Nothing is capitalized. Or you might want to add some options when nothing is capitalized on their responses. And basically what's going to happen is Google's going to auto-grade all of these responses. And if they put any one of these responses, it will be counted as correct. If a kid does some creative spelling, it'll give you an option and you will have to automatically check those, okay? After the fact, after they turn it in, you'll have to physically check it. Here, mark all other answers correct. I don't want to do that because perhaps I haven't chosen all the predictive measures that a student might put down for the Nile. I'm not big on spelling perhaps with this particular question. So if they misspelled Nile River, they type too fast like we so often do, let's say they just put it in here. Maybe they don't put a space between Nile and Nile River. I wouldn't want to count that one wrong, but that's something I didn't have listed here. So that'll be a time when I want to physically go back in there and check it. No answer feedback on this one, and I'm going to make this one worth another 10 points. So now I'm done there. Go to my next questions. Let's see what I've got so far. I've got 2 questions. They're worth 20 points. What's this going to look like to a kid? Preview. This is what a kid's going to see. Unit 1 test. What's the name of this river? Rio Grande. Notice they don't see the YouTube piece. You don't see that unless the kid gets it wrong. They click on it and they go here and they submit. They can see their score. And there we go. Feedback. You notice they don't see their feedback and they don't see this YouTube thing until they click submit. The feedback is coming from me. Oops, that's not right. Journey down the Nile River. Hit the button. And here we go. And they got this one correct. They would have an actual answer. Total points, 10 out of 20. Next piece is going to be, I want to get out of this because I'm done looking at the preview now. Okay. So now I'm back to where my questions were. I'm going to do some editing for this particular form. I want to add something to the theme. I'm not a big fan of this purple and light purple, so I'm going to pick something else. I've got a whole lot of different cool things to choose from, even some preloaded animated headers that Google has set up for me here. So why don't I look for travel, because I'm in a different country. Let's see. There's one that has a river. But I got this cool animated one. I'm going to go with that. Not a whole lot, not that fancy, but certainly enough to grab the kids' attention a little bit more. My theme color, I'm going to change. Not a big fan of these background colors. I'm going to find the one that I like. I'm going to go with that. So there, I'm done. And that's closed and that's ready to roll. Now I've got responses. Over here, I can see my responses for what kids have written. This is my summary of all the responses. This is my individual responses. This is like for an individual student. This would be for the individual questions. Okay, you could see this right here. The kid put Rio Grande. Is that right or that's wrong? It's already marked it wrong. Do I want to go back in there and count it right? I don't, so I'm going to stick with that. And I can see the next question. Nile response, they counted it right. Okay, that's good. This would be the place where you would see something like Nile River put together with maybe without a space. In my third question, I have no response, left blank. So I'm not even going to count that right or wrong. I'm just going to leave it as they just got 20 points. Individual, again, we're back here with just an individual student response. So if I look at all my questions, I've got these responses set up. I'm going to go back to my gear. Actually, I haven't been there yet, so let's look at what I've got. You'll notice I didn't have a name on that paper. If I look here and I look for my individual responses, there's no name, there's no nothing. So I've got to set that up over here. Quizzes, presentation, general, collect email addresses. Bam, hit that, because in HEB we have the student names are attached to the email address, their full name. So you have the freedom to just collect the email addresses and the kids don't have to put their names on it. So don't waste time, honestly, with their names unless you're not sure how the kids format in their names. If their email addresses should just match perfect, you should have no problem. Limit to one response. This is what you will want to do if you don't want kids to be able to click that link that says submit another response. If you don't hit this, they could answer this test 3 and 4 times, and you probably don't want that. Response receipts, what is that? Respondents receive a copy of their responses. Oh, that's cool. I want them to get that. So the student's going to get a copy of it always, whether they want it or not. Respondents can edit after submit or see summary charts and text responses. I don't want them to see the summary because I'm not necessarily concerned with them comparing themselves to the other kids. Presentation, show progress bar, shuffle question order. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Shuffle the question. Progress, why not? That way they know if they're getting close to being finished. Response has been recorded. That's what's going to be there. You could also type something in here pretty easily. Please be sure to complete tonight's homework. You could add that, and that's going to pop up when they finish. Look at our quizzes. Make this a quiz. Yes. Allow point values and auto grading. Release grade immediately or after submission. I'm going to go with later, after manual review, because that way I can check their responses if they kind of mistype something or if they've misspelled something. Respondents can see missed questions, correct answers, and point values. Sure, they can see all of that. Now I'll be able to go to their individual responses and I can see their names. But if you do this after the fact, you see I just see response 1, you're not going to see their name. So you've got to set that up ahead of time to collect email addresses. And let's see, I don't think I have much more to show you with just simple quizzes and forms. We can go back to questions and we can look at the different types. This is really going to be unique to you though, in your class and your situation. So multiple choice, paragraph. So they'll be able to write a paragraph. This would be a really good response to maybe a video that you've posted. Check boxes, you could have multiple choices and they can just pick from all the check boxes, a drop-down menu. These will be all things that you'll want to play with depending on what you've got to do for particular questions. So you should be able to take your items from your curriculum and then just post them as they're already written, and you can give the answer choices the way you want to set them up. And I'm done. So basically, it's already saved for me. I'm out of it. I'm going to get out of here. And then if I want to post this into a classroom, I go back to my Google Classroom. Gives me an opportunity. I'm going to go to what's called my test class, classwork, and I'm going to create an assignment. If I create a quiz assignment, it's going to automatically create a quiz for me, and I don't necessarily need to do that. I'm just going to go to assignment. And I'm going to title it Unit 1 Quiz because I've already made the form. My attachments, here we go, down here. Click on Drive because that's where your form was saved. Recent, it'll be your first one. Bam. Done. Unit 1 test. If you got instructions, you can tell them right down here. You want to make it part of Unit 1. There it is. Due date. We did some other assignment. Let's call it it's due on the 11th. No time. Optional. Assign or save. With due dates on the 11th, I probably don't want them to have that test until the 11th. So I can schedule it and not even pass it out until the 11th. 10 a.m. Nope. I need that for my first period class, which is at 8. So 8. Now that's going to push to everybody that's in this particular test class at 8 o'clock. Luckily, that's my first period class. It's scheduled and it's ready to go. And that's really all there is to it with integrating forms into your classroom. There's a whole lot more details if you wanted to advance your forms and do some fancier things with them. And I guess that's going to be forms, 201 instead of 101. Thanks so much, guys. I hope it's helped.